everybody, welcome back to the Bid Nerds, your daily nerd on the most interesting car of the day from all the automotive enthusiast auction sites like Bring a Trailer, PCar Market, Cars and Bids, Marks, Shiftgate, and more. Look, we find the most interesting car of the day and we talk about it. Who's we? I'm John Polnik. I'm your host right here in the Las Vegas Container Park in downtown Las Vegas, along with my partner in his cold, but good-looking studio there in San Francisco, Michael Deeb. Welcome, sir. We've got an I do think today's car is interesting. What is up? I don't know. What's up?
Yeah. What's up, man? How are you, buddy? It's nice weather. Life was beautiful. They cleared it all out. Do you have empty space now behind the studio?
Yeah, it's all just a dirt lot again. I'm on my second cup of coffee already today, so maybe that's why I'm talking so quickly. But I need it, man. Didn't get any sleep this weekend. Lots going on, and lots coming up. This weekend, we're going to be with Rami Mirza and the Rami Show, along with his company, AM Surgical, in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, that's
if you're in
right.
Boston, reach out. We can go hang out.
Rochelle is going as well.
Yeah. Rochelle, my wife, is going as well. We're going to have a good time and get a lot of work done, so that's going to be really cool. And then you can find us. Yeah.
Who takes care of the dogs if you both go away?
That is a good question, and our good friend of the show, and he is also one of the producers for our Do or Die episode, Mikey Patriquin, who is in Ireland right now. He is going to be house sitting when he gets back. What's that? He and Kate? Yep.
And Kate. Yeah, Mikey and Kate. Hi, Kate.
And Radu and Kay will be bridging the gap because we are leaving the day that Mikey is coming back. So Radu and Kay are gonna pick up the slack with Patootie, our producer, and the new little guy Sherman, two little white fluffy dogs that are awesome, but a handful. So thank you to all our friends who are helping us out with that.
Yeah, Patootie, our producer.
Yeah, and then we're getting ready the following weekend. We're going to be in Luftgekalt, right?
Woohoo! Yep, we are. And somebody's getting a new 19, and it's not me.
It's not you.
It's going to be my wife. Yeah, she's excited.
Very nice. Is she coming? Is Esther coming down to Luftgekalt?
No.
So you're going to go down to Luftgekalt, get the car, and drive it back up to her.
Yep.
That is the way to do it. Be Michael Deeb's wife, man. She gets hooked up. Very nice. I'm excited about that 914 for you. Bright yellow.
It's our third year anniversary, and believe it or not, I'm not making this up. 3-year anniversary. The gift is leather, so she's getting leather fiberglass sports seats, race seats in her new 914. So
very nice.
That's the gift.
Nice
now
work.
See if I can get her name etched in the leather.
I like it. All right, guys. Well, let's get to the car. That's why you're here. Now's the time to hit the subscribe, like, and notification button. What is today's car, Michael Deeb? Look at this beauty.
Check it out.
I like this car.
PCar Market is a Mexico blue 1977 Porsche 911 Carrera RSR IROC Tribute. Now, it's super interesting, JP, because a lot of people will graft on some fender flares to an old 911 and call it an RSR or call it an IROC, whatever. A lot of the IROC tributes are usually completely hollowed out, roll bar equipped track cars. And then a lot of the RSRs are really cool cars, but they wind up getting like 3.6 motor swaps from the old, 2.73 liter 3.2 GB motor that came with the car. What I like about this car, JP, is that they did a pretty faithful IROC body package, but they didn't hollow out the car. This is still a street car on the inside with night heats and a tipo and carpet. They do RS door cards and all that sort of thing. But here's where it gets really interesting. They kept the 3-liter motor and did a twin plug engine rebuild. And I have a sneaky suspicion this car is probably more faithful to an IROC than a lot of the other builds that we've seen in the marketplace. And I think this is a pretty neat car. I love the colorway. I love the period correct Fuchs wheels and the Michelin tires. It's got the body kit and the bright color. But that 3-liter twin plug, I think that makes for me. And then they went so far as to do the P shooter exhaust, the twin Stinger exhaust at the center of the rear bodywork on this car. So when you look at the whole package, what I see here is approximately $130,000 to $150,000 worth of work if you were going to try and copy this car. And so here it is on PCar Market, completely done for you. In other words, I could do the car for you for similar money. Already been done, and it saves you 8 months worth of work and about $150,000 of cash, where you could just go and buy this car already. So interesting. There's 4 days left, and our car is only at $50,000. It's also on PCar Market, which could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. Hard to say. Every time we seem to doubt PCar Market, they come through, and oftentimes when we think PCar Market's the right place, a car doesn't bring money. So I have an interesting take on where I think this car is going to land, but I like this car. The only thing that bothers me, JP, is I send it back to you. You may notice from the first shot, they did not remove the sunroof, and that bugs me because when you look at a car like this, if you're going to bother to repaint it and graft on the bumpers and the wings and the fender flares, why not remove the sunroof and make it a proper slick top like a race car should have been? So that detail probably annoys me more than it would anybody else. But that's kind of ish that I'm like, dude, why did you bail on that? Like, you should have done that last piece. And in the process, you would have lightened the car and lowered the center of gravity. So other than that, I think it's really cool that they used a 3-liter for the motor on this. I like the work. I like the colorway. The stance is right. Cool car. I would love to. But I have a sneaky suspicion it might not live up to the hype on this auction. JP, what do you like about it? Because I heard you say from the get-go you really like today's car. So what do you like about it?
Do we know who the builder of this car is? Does it say?
No.
This looks like a Kaloa car a little bit. No, yeah, I mean, I love everything about it. The color, the selection, the seats, just, I mean, like, it really is fantastic. You're right about it not being authentic because of the sunroof, and you do get a little bit extra performance having the lower center of gravity. But you know what? Sunroofs are kind of cool. Like, they're nice. They're nice to have, especially if you don't have air conditioning in something like this, which obviously they don't.
Disagree.
You know, I know you do, but you're a cabriophobe, so what are you going to do? I love. It's just kind of like it's latent cabriophobeness. It's light racism. I mean, cabriophobeness. I love the classic Michelin tires that they put on here and everything like that. Would I like it better if it was a slick top? Yeah, sure, I guess, but it just doesn't bother me, I guess. This car is not authentic. This car is not correct at all. Right. So who cares at this point?
No, you're right.
Build it the way you want it, not necessarily the way it's supposed to be. You know, I'm always confused by the RSRs and the different versions of them. You know, the big RSRs have those air ducts on the rear fenders, and then, you know, the front fenders have the flare that has the vent behind it in front of the door, but, you know, some of them do, some of them don't, I guess. I like that this is the correct RS wing. That's the only thing that, or RSR type wing, or IROC wing, I guess this is.
IROC,
this is an IROC wing, isn't it?
Yeah. IROC wing and then the IROC front, you know, with the oil cooler and the brake ducting.
Yeah, the whole turning the car off thing on the hood, what a goofy thing. It's like that you're just begging for your buddies to mess with that. But I guess it's functional on a racetrack or something like that. This car is beautiful. The big question right now is, will modded cars bring money? Or, you know, as we're kind of going into a rough patch with the economy, some would say much worse than a rough patch, or will only blue chip cars hold their value? This is a really cool car to own and drive, and I mean, this is just like the kind of, this really is just a fantastic, if you want a classic air-cooled hot rod, this is it in spades, right? It's not original, so you can drive it without worrying about really ruining, you know, call it the value or whatever. But it's not original at the same time. So, you know, yeah, you said it's you think it's $130,000 to $150,000 to build it, at least. Geez, how much is a 911 coupe? You know, how much is building an engine? You know, rebuilding a twin plug like that. That's what, $40,000, something like that. Paint job is easily $30,000-$40,000. All those bits. I mean, yeah, I think you can get to $150,000 really easy in trying to build something like this. But does that mean it's worth that? What do you think? What's going to happen with the auction on this car?
So JP, again, we got about 4 days to go on this one, but I, you know, with everything that's going on, all the noise, and as specialized or as niche as this car is, I think the seller's going to have a tough time, and I don't think it's the fault of the platform here. I'm not like laying the blame at PCar Market in advance of the result of this auction. I'm a little down on this one. So JP, I'm going to say that our car stalls out at 120,000, winds up in the deal bank for like 185 grand because it failed to sell at my bid of 120,000. Where are you at with those numbers?
Yeah, agreed. I don't even think it breaks 100. I think this thing just sits. I mean, it's a beautiful car that a minute ago was worth all the money, but I just don't think anyone is going to plop their big pile of cash with this week the way it's going, unless there's an incredible rally at the end of the week and there's a bunch of rich crypto bros that are like, oh look, we're rich again, which, let's be real, that ain't gonna happen this time around. So if people are going to be putting money in cars, I think they're going to be putting in the blue chip stuff. They're going to be buying the original cars, not the hot rods. I think the day of the hot rod is nigh. It's done. It is. Wow, I think this is it, and I own one, so it's like, okay,
New levels of depressing, John.
yeah, sorry about that. Do I want this car? Heck yeah, but I just don't think anyone's going to be putting big money into these things.
Give me your
It'd be
number.
interesting to see if I'm wrong. I'll say 99K.
99.
Now is the time to give us your number. Do you think this car is going to bring the big money, or do you think it's just going to stall out and on PCar Market and nothing's going to happen? Is this a car that you'd be okay with being stuck with if it, like, imagine if you let's say you're able to buy this thing for 140, and everything just goes to hell, and in 6 months this thing's only worth 70. Do you care?
Yeah.
You got an amazing car that you can run around in and just enjoy the depression in.
I don't, because you still can't go out and build it for 140 again.
Yeah.
And so I still think it winds up being a good value, even if you're financially upside down in the car. If I had to be stuck with a 911, I'd be happy to be stuck with this one.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say is this a long hood conversion or a true like 72, 73 RSR, then I think it would bring the money. We've seen a lot of those cars bring around $200,000. But this isn't that. This is a 77, and it's not trying to be a long hood. I just think it's too niche for the current climate. So there you go.
Yeah. Sure love to drive it. All right, put your bids in right now, and we're going to jump to the future and see what happens. How much is this thing worth? Let's find out. Hey guys, I'm super excited to tell you about our sponsor, Guys Customs. That's Guys, GYX _customs. That's how you spell it. Guys Customs bracelets. These things are amazing. Check them out. They're handmade in America, custom bracelets made to match your watch or your car. These things are unbelievable. I have 3 or 4 of them myself. My partner Michael Deeb has a bunch of them. They're pretty addictive once you get one. Each one of them are bespoke. We're talking carbon fiber. We're talking titanium. We're talking stainless steel, glass. There's none of this cheap Chinese garbage that you see a lot of bracelets being made out there. These ones are super high quality. They're made right here in America. When you go to Guys Customs on Instagram, it's about the only place that you can order one of these. When you DM the artist, you're actually reaching the real artist when you DM Guys Customs at Instagram. And she will make you a bracelet made to match that special watch, that special car, or that special person that has a special watch or a special car and they want something really, really cool in their life. They make the most amazing gifts. I get compliments on mine all the time. Everywhere I go, people are like, wow, that's really cool. You can see in the pictures, these beads, the colored beads are PTS. They're paint to sample. So if you have a specific color code for your car, she'll have beads made that are specifically painted to match your car or your watch. It's unbelievable. You got to get one of these Guys Customs bracelets. Check them out. They support us, and we really, really, really want to support them. Guys Customs bracelets. All right, let's get back to the bids. Let's find out how much that car sold for today. Welcome back, guys. We're doing the Bid Nerds thing, and today we have a third nerd. We have Lane Skelton gracing us with his presence. For those of you who don't know Lane Skelton, who doesn't know Lane Skelton? Come on, DWA, Redwood, all the things. This guy is super huge. He's the most famous guy in our car world, or, look, I don't know why he's here. I don't know what he's doing hanging out with a bunch of losers like us. Thanks, Lane.
I just like you guys. Thanks, man. I like you guys a lot,
Lane, right before the commercial, you weren't here. How did you even get room? Like, what are you doing here?
Dude, I climbed in. I stopped you guys, man. I'm your watcher. I'm listener. I'm the one.
This show is going to get poor views because nearly 50% of our audience is actually on the show right now.
That's true.
So I don't know. Do you go back and watch your own stuff? We'll see. All right. Well, here we are in the future. Thanks for sticking around, guys. If you haven't hit the like, subscribe, or notification button, now is the time. We're going to tell you what actually happened with this really cool IROC Tribute car. Deeb, why don't you tell us quickly, just give us a quick refresh on the car and give Lane a chance to give us his bid before you reveal what actually happened at the end of this auction.
Lane's super cool car, a 1977 911 Carrera that's been rebuilt. It's an RSR IROC Tribute, complete with a 3-liter twin plug motor that's been built. Interior and all body wheels. All the car's in Woodland Hills, California. And as P always says, the guy who invests all this money is not necessarily the one to make all the money. It's usually the guy that buys a car that's already done, that is sort of the winner in these things. I just like the car because I thought the motor was sort of authentic to the build spirit of occasion. It's got the right motor to be an IROC Tribute. And I love the Mexico blue. I mean, I'm all about those sort of candy gumball colors. So Lane, out of Woodland Hills on PCar Market, mind you, what do you think this IROC Tribute is worth? We see a lot of the early Longwood builds bringing, 200,000 plus, but it's rare that we see tributes to the RSR in the G-body configuration. So I send it to you.
All right. So it is a 77, so it's unsmoggable.
Right.
So that's a big menos puntos from me.
Yep.
And then, like you were saying to me offline, it has a sunroof that looks like it might be broken. It's like semi-closed, that picture.
Aren't they all, though?
Oh my God, so funny.
But it does have cool 15-inch wheels with some fat tires, and it looks pretty correct looking, kind of cool. Those mats need to go. But dude, I'm so bad at this kind of thing, the hot rod stuff. I just don't look at it a lot in the market. Right. But I'm gonna go out and say $100,000.
100 grand. All right. Okay. So let's give you our numbers again. So Lane Skelton thinks the 77 IROC on PCar should bring 100 grand. JP said 99,000, taking the conservative just under him. I said $120,000, but we kind of agreed that we think this guy thinks his car is worth more money than it is, or certainly that it might bring on PCar Market, and that it would fail to sell at all of our numbers. And that was correct. The car failed to sell at $95,000 on just 4 bids and wound up in the deal tank where it sits today. I actually looked at it this morning, still sitting there for $155,000. I think, JP, it's like 10 days later. You know what I mean? So 155 grand sitting there.
Sorry, dude. And by the way, why is he going on PCar Market if he's West Coast, like Inagora Hills?
Right.
He probably was probably denied by Bring a Trailer.
Oh, no way. Bring a Trailer says yes to everybody.
Well, they say yes. They say yes to everyone, but they are pretty aggressive on their reserves. There's no way in hell Bring a Trailer is giving this guy $155 for his reserve. Right. Not a chance. Or even anything much more. I think the best BAT would do would maybe $110, maybe $120. Yeah. What do you think, Lane?
Yeah. I fully agree with you. I mean, I thought it was a $100,000 car, and I pay $100? Probably not, because 77, and I just would never base something like this off a 77 mid-year car. But yeah, I think you're right on.
What was the engine, Deeb? Was this just a stock engine with PMOs, or what was?
No. 3-liter twin plug build.
Twin plug.
So
okay.
So a car probably makes a few horsepower.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of times you see these wide body builds, these RSR builds or whatever, and they usually don't bring the money because a lot of times they'll just have a regular stock engine. But if you got a twin plug in there and built engine with those, on BAT, I definitely think it would have, broken the $100,000 mark. You couldn't build this car for anywhere. I mean, you're definitely in that $150 range. So I know why he wants that much money for this thing. Right. And I think if it were 6 months ago, he may have been right, but I think this is a good example of what I've been talking about. If you look at like the stock market, right, all the stocks that have crashed, we still haven't really seen a correction in, call it, the tech market. Apple hasn't really taken a dump. Google, all those really kind of weird way to say it, but blue chip tech stocks haven't really corrected that hard. So I feel like the air-cooled 911 world is similar to that, in the sense that if you've got something weird, if you're like some crappy SaaS company that is tracking the tracking fleas and ticks on your dog, all right, and you're going to pay a monthly subscription to this weird tech, that stock is in the tank. But and that's basically what this is. This is kind of a weird build. But if you have something like we talked about yesterday, that paint the sample slate green 87 Targa, nothing special at all really about that car other than maybe the paint to sample, but the condition wasn't really that great, and it was just a general all around nice car. But that car is still kind of in an inflated price. I think unless you're looking at really, really blue chip nice collectible 911s, I think you're in a situation where you're going to be losing. The prices are going to go down and correct far more quickly than the blue chip stuff. Any take on that, Lane?
I agree, and I think with a car like this, you just need. There's so many stories to be told, right? Like, what was the original color? Like, how was the build done? How are the fenders put on? Like, there's so many question marks in my head with cars like this where I just need to see stuff in person. Where like that green one we looked at yesterday, the Targa, it looked like primarily original paint. It didn't look like it had a lot of stories. The seats had wear. There was just wear. Had wear on items. So it was like I could tell where that car had been, how it lived its life. This one, I don't know what's going. Like it's a little difficult. So I think that's a hard thing. And being, like I said, 76 through 77 car, that's just like always been a no-go for me being Californian.
Right.
So I just stay away. I'd go 75 or earlier, or I would go 78 and later, basically.
Yeah.
So that's always a hard one as well. And California is a huge market, right? So
yeah, it's the biggest market for Look, it's kind of like maybe like a McDonald's cheeseburger or something. Like you know what you're getting. Even it may not be the best cheeseburger in the world, but if you go to McDonald's, you're going to get basically the same cheeseburger, or Denny's, you're going to get a Moons Over Miami, right? If you're going to order a car online, sight unseen, on an auction site, that 87 Targa, you know what you're getting into. You know exactly what that experience is going to be like when you turn the key on the left. You get into this car, you really have no idea what it's going to be like to drive this thing. It might be awesome. Or it just might not be sorted out at all and look cool, but everything's just all screwed up underneath and wind up with a big old mess. Deeb, any other takes on that before we move on?
No, I just think it's just kind of a bummer. I think the big thing here is that the guys out $155,000 for the car could replicate that build for $155,000. I just don't think you can. So it still seems like it's a decent value as it sits. It'll probably wind up in the retail in the classifieds again. So we'll see if this car doesn't surface on another platform someday soon.
That is true. What do you guys think out there? Were your bids spot on? Did anybody get a Yahtzee? I can't believe how closely Lane and I bid on this thing. I'm like just a dark, black-pilled, cynical a-hole. Why would anyone want to be anywhere close to being like me? Sorry, Lane. But hey, you're a smart guy. Guys, hit the subscribe, like, notification button. Check out DWA while you're at it. Dwayne, DWA. Lane, do you have anything you want to plug before we move on?
No, he doesn't, because the Coastal Range Rally is already sold out.
Sold out. But
Bam!
Drum Wilson podcast every week
Yeah.
on the Haggerty Podcast Network.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us.
Drop it.
Get those words!